We have one last part. We are very fortunate to have with us Matt Blomstedt, who is not only, I think, not only a great commissioner of public instruction, public education here, he's also my friend, and we have a lot of fun together. And I enjoy so much listening to him, learning from him, and you will too. You notice, though, that we had two names. Because Matt felt like he wanted to have a partner, and that would be Danette Smith. Wonderful, wonderful partner indeed. She's the CEO of NDHHS. And Danette is unable to be here this morning, but she is such a fabulous person that she waited for me. I was a little late. She waited for me outside here to tell me that she had an emergency in the agency that she has to deal with. And she felt very badly about not joining, but she knows Matt can handle it. We all know that. And so I'm very, very pleased to be able to introduce to you Matt Blomstedt.
First of all, it's really an honor to be here, but I gotta tell you something. I think Sam and some of his staff had been emailing me asking that I be able to present at this, and I'm such a good friend to Sam that all of his emails were going to my junk mail. And no, once we sorted that out, and I think I said, Sam, you have my cell. Just text me, man. Just text me. But anyway, really an honor to be here. It's a privilege to be the Commissioner of Education in the state of Nebraska. That's a privilege that I owe to you. I see so many friends in the audience that have been instrumental for my early childhood years as well, but also just the development. But I want to really thank the Nebraska State Board of Education, and I see Lisa right in front of me. I believe Pat Tim is in the room who participated as a member of the commission. I don't think I have others in the room, but I'm going to read all their names just in case. So Maureen Nichols, who's our president of the state board, Patsy Kojan, who is our vice president, Robin Stevens from the western part of the state, who I know cares deeply about what happens in early childhood education, John Witzel from Omaha, Deb Neary from Omaha, and also Rachel Wise. So hopefully I have not missed anyone as I jotted down my notes. But the reality is, it's really an honor to be in front of all of you and know that there's so many other communities engaged in this conversation in such an important moment in time, and really such an important moment in time in the sense that I reflect back. I know you were talking about what could happen 10 years from now, and I reflect back on just watching this develop in Nebraska, watching early childhood develop in Nebraska. I was once the director of the Nebraska Rural Community Schools Association with a great number of leaders from those times that did not see necessarily the need for early childhood and the relationship with the public school system that we now have. That we argued about at moments in time, is this really our job, right? Is this really an important part of the responsibilities that we have? And I've seen that change to where I know we have superintendents all over the state, but even in this room that would tell you it's among the most urgent things that we do in the state of Nebraska. And so thank you for your focus on that. Thanks for the work of everyone on the commission and everyone who's committed effort and time to make this report come forward. Because Danette Smith's not here, and she also called me this morning a bit in a panic saying, can you handle it? I've already seen my 3-minute sign. I'm pretty sure I can handle 3 minutes. So, but I will say our partnerships at a statewide level are absolutely critical to this. And as we continue to do this work, it's critical. And critical that we have the alignment with HHS and partners, but we have some amazing Department of Education staff here as well. I see Melody Hobson. I'm not gonna be able to point out everyone in the room. I believe Deb Friesen was part of the commission. Amy Bunnell, I'm sorry if I'm missing. I can't see everyone. The lights are bright up here. But thank you to all of our department staff who dedicated a tremendous amount of time in thinking with all of you on the types of efforts underway, and I think that's really critical. So just thank you so much for all of our staff. Now, I have to just say a couple things. There's truly a statewide need for early childhood education and the thoughtful nature of this. I just was in DC last week working with a group on literacy, right? And early literacy and the importance of that particular work. And the reality is, if I wait till kindergarten to start a conversation around literacy with our families all across the state, we've missed something. Our best opportunities are our connections with parents and families and children at the earliest years that we can muster it. I know our future has to be in the thoughtful nature of how we build those relationships, and that's what we're doing in Nebraska. I'm terribly pleased just to be in a position where we can have this conversation and say it's time that we get to work on the workforce around early childhood. Thank you to the providers in the room as well, because yet another thing, this challenge, and I remember way back when, how are we gonna make this all work together as communities, and how are we gonna come up with solutions that are gonna work for everyone and not drive people out of this? There is so much demand today that we need all of you. And we need to find ways that we serve you well and find funding mechanisms that work for families and for businesses and for others that come together. That is where we're at. That's the call to action in this particular work. So I know that statewide need is there. But it also has to be a focus on quality, right? And we've had step up to quality in our system, but figuring out what quality is actually the investment back into the workforce. I mean, the quality comes from the workforce. The quality comes from the supports that we drive in that system. When we start talking about what competencies are necessary, it's how we train people, but it's also how we bring people along that are already in the field. How do we do that work? And that's a policy challenge for us yet, right? But that's one that's called out specifically in this report. I want to say this is doable. I mean, there are times where I think, oh my goodness, how are we going to get this all done? And there's a lot of those subjects that come together. What's fascinating to me is the leveraged capacity of the state of Nebraska, all of you in community, every parent, every family, everyone together doing this heavy lifting can actually get this done. It is clearly doable. Our conversations that we have today about what matters, and even the data conversation. So I sit here and I just happened to, when I sat down and you know, Susan Fritz was sitting, I just met with Susan yesterday about the importance of building a data system pre-K to workforce, to think about how that data comes together so we can invest in the proper things that we know make a difference. And so that's our work ahead with us as well. It's doable. It's doable because we've all created a level of focus that this truly matters in our education system. Now I'm gonna just kind of be able to finish on this basic point. I'm a dad of 5 kids, 4 girls and 1 boy in that order. And no, we didn't keep trying until we got the boy. That's just how it worked out. The reality is my oldest is now a senior in high school. My youngest is 9, almost 10 years old. When I started this job as commissioner of education, my oldest was in 6th grade. I've been commissioner of education half of her school career. My other children will blame me even more if we don't get these things right. Here's my other thing. So I'm at that turning point soon. Someday I'll be a grandfather, right? If God wills it, I'll be in that position. I'll be in the position where I'm looking at a state of Nebraska that has a changing need. We have a changing need in this state from a workforce standpoint, but also just from our demographics have shifted dramatically. It is time we take care of those that need our help most, those families that are coming to our country, those families that are already in our state. Nebraska must lead the way in developing a system that addresses the challenges that we have as a country and as a nation. Nebraska will lead the nation in this area if we do this work right. That's where I see us in 10 years. Let others keep up with us. Let's do that work. Let's do it well. Thank you for all that you've done as a commission. Thank you for, Sam, what you've done in your leadership. Thanks to all of the leaders in the room. I appreciate being just a small part of it. It's always better to come in at the end of a meeting, but just thank you and give yourselves all a round of applause.